If you have read the Bible, you may have come across the name Midian or Midianite. But who exactly were the Midianites, and why did they become enemies of Israel? Or was their role in the scriptures part of Yahuwah's master plan? Stick around to find out as we explore the fascinating history of the Midianites. If you like history and biblical stories of the Bible, please consider subscribing to this channel. Like, comment, and share with your family and friends. The Midianites were said to be a group of nomadic or Bedouin tribe of people who may have inhabited the eastern or northwestern Arabian Peninsula. In modern times, this area is now occupied by Jordanian, Saudi Arabian, and a small minority of Israeli people. In the Bible, we are first introduced to the name Midian in the book of Genesis. After the passing of his beloved wife Sarah, Abraham, the patriarch of the Israelites, marries a woman by the name of Keturah. As a result of this marriage, 6 sons were born unto Abraham. Their names were Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. That's Genesis 25 verse 1-4. Here we see the name Midian being mentioned as one of Abraham's sons, and we are further told that Midian himself had 5 sons. Before Abraham passed away, he sent away his concubines and their sons to a land in the east. There is no mention of the actual place where they settled. The next time we run into the name Midian is in the Joseph story. Joseph was the great-grandson of Abraham. He was thrown into a cistern by his brothers who were jealous of him, and then sold to Ishmaelite traders, who were also known as Midianite traders. Ishmael, who is Abraham's first son through Hagar, the Egyptian maidservant of Sarah, is the patriarch of the Ishmaelite traders. So here we learn a bit of information about the Midianite people. They were desert traders. As a matter of fact, they had one of the best trade routes in that time. They traded spices, gold, and even livestock in places such as Egypt, Mesopotamia, and all the surrounding regions, so they were very lucrative businessmen. Besides being traders, the Midianites became a source of shelter and support for one of the most important prophets of all time in biblical history. This prophet is none other than Moses. I believe we all know the story of Moses, a Hebrew boy from the Levite clan who escaped death as a baby by being placed in a basket and sailed down the Nile River to escape Pharaoh's brutal onslaught of all Hebrew baby boys. As part of Yahuwah's plan, it so happened that Pharaoh's own daughter rescued the baby Moses, brought him to the palace, and grew him up as her own son. Though Moses grew up in Pharaoh's palace, he knew that he was Hebrew and had empathy for his people. So when Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, he jumped into action and slew the Egyptian. Because of his crime, Moses had to escape from Egypt to save his life. And the scriptures tell us that when Moses fled Egypt, he went to live in the land of Midian. So Midian may have been an area very close to Egypt where Moses sought refuge. At that specific time, the Midianites were probably not that hostile to the Israelites. Or once again, it was because of Yahuwah's master plan. There are times that Yahuwah will make even your enemy be at peace with you in order to fulfill his plan, and this seems to be one of those times. After Moses arrives in Midian, he is taken in by Reuel or Jethro, who is a Midianite priest. Moses even marries one of Reuel's daughters, a woman by the name of Zipporah, and she gave him a son, whom Moses named Gershom. Moses named the boy Gershom because he said that he was a foreigner in a foreign land. That's Exodus chapter 2, verses 21-22. So Moses dwelled amongst the Midianites, which became a source of sanctuary and comfort until Yahuwah was ready to fulfill his plan through him. Moses' father-in-law Reuel was a wise man. He counseled Moses on how he should lead the Israelites and praised the Elohim of the Israelites when he saw how Yahuwah rescued them from the Egyptians. That's Exodus chapter 18. But this friendship between the Midianites and the tribes of Israel was short-lived. In the book of Numbers, specifically Numbers 22-25, the Midianites did something very deplorable to the tribes of Israel that caused the two nations to go into an all-out war. Because Yahuah gave the Israelites victory against their enemies, the peoples of the land of Moab were afraid that they would be annihilated, so they requested help from the Midianites, who in turn joined forces with the Moabites. They summoned a false prophet, a man by the name of Balaam, to curse the children of Israel. But their plan could not be brought to fruition, for Yahuah did not allow Balaam to speak curses over the children of Israel. Instead, Balaam only pronounced blessings upon Israel. This was a big error and lack of judgment on the part of the Midianites. But things took on a more drastic turn when the Israelite men became sexually involved with the women of both Moab and Midian, which led them away into false worship of other gods. Yahuah was angry with the disobedience of the Israelites and sent a plague upon them. An Israelite man by the name of Zimri from the tribe of Simeon brought a Midianite woman into his tent. The elders of Israel, having witnessed such defiance and disrespect, were so angry that Phinehas, the grandson of Aaron, Moses' brother, got up in a rage and with a sword in his hand went into the tent and killed both the Israelite and the Midianite woman. After they were killed, Yahuah ceased the plague against Israel because they have now been purified. Then Yahuah ordered Moses to attack the Midianites and completely destroy them. So from then on, the Midianites and the Israelites became bitter enemies. Later on in the book of Judges, the Midianites began to oppress the Israelites, causing them plenty of trouble by stealing their livestock and even their crops. Yahuah allowed this to happen to them because the Israelites turned away from worshiping the one and only true and living God. So Yahuah allowed them to fall into the hands of their enemies. But Yahuah did not stay angry at the Israelites for too long. He allowed them to redeem themselves, and that redemption came at the hands of a man named Gideon. In Judges 6-8, Yahuah gives Gideon and his 300 men victory over the Midianite army and their allies, who had over 100,000 men. He killed the two Midianite kings, Zebah and Zalmunna, and restored honor to the tribes of Israel. And we are told that the Midianites never recovered after this faithful battle. So what became of the Midianites? Some theories suggest that they may have been annexed into other tribes such as the Edomites or the Amalekites. Archaeologists have found remnants of Midianite pottery in areas around Israel and Arabia. Whatever you may think of them, the Midianites were both allies and adversaries of Israelite. They were a part of Yahuah's plan, which proves that Yahuah can work through any nation to bring about his plan and purpose for his chosen ones. The Midianites were more than just another ancient tribe. Their interactions with Israel shaped biblical history in surprising ways. What do you think? Were they just enemies, or did they serve a greater purpose in God's plan? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe for more biblical history. Share this with someone interested in ancient history.